Well, the Stadia Connect has come and gone, and we have a lot to cover with all the news that came out. But did this Connect finally start that hype train that Stadia needed, or did it sputter and come short? Let's dive into everything that happened and find out if this Connect was worth the wait. Like always, smash that like button to help me out, hit that notification bell to know when my videos go live, and sub to the channel for more Stadia news and games coverage, as well as consider checking out my Patreon, as it's users like Sire who keep this channel going. And know that I will only talk about new information that was discovered in this Connect, not older titles that we've already mentioned and have confirmed dates. But the Stadia Connect starts off with none other than Phil Harrison himself, a man who has been MIA since November. And I personally was starting to worry about his whereabouts, as I've never seen a man disappear so well. And he lets us know that the existing pro users do indeed get an extended 2 months, while new users get 2 months to try the pro service. He then talks about new users who are looking to purchase Stadia and the benefits you get, and explains the service. But the biggest thing he came out with, and the question we've all been asking, is where the heck is EA? And on cue, we find out that EA is bringing 5 titles to Stadia. He didn't mention if all 5 titles were coming in 2020, but that the 3 titles that are coming are starting with Jedi Fallen Order coming in the fall, and FIFA and Madden following right behind that. Now, FIFA and Madden are actually looking to be winter titles. Now, to say I was excited about all this would be a massive understatement, as I was really hoping that one of the EA titles would be Fallen Order. But then to see FIFA as well as Madden in the mix definitely lit up my eyes. All AAA titles, not including the other 2 unannounced games, made me feel good about the partnership that Stadia has with EA now going forward. And honestly, the only thing that I could really complain about is that Jedi Fallen Order is releasing in the fall instead of a more current date. But I don't want to sound too entitled, as frankly, I'm personally overjoyed to see these titles coming to Stadia. Then we cut to a cue to Aaron Hoffman-John, who lets us know about a stealth drop that none of us really saw coming, period, and that was Octopath Traveler, already now released on the Stadia store. I won't go into too much detail, but this is a game that isn't even a year old yet. And while it isn't pushing Stadia to its hardware limits, it's a fantastic JRPG that I've enjoyed that is also rated extremely well by a lot of users. But the price at $59.99 makes it for a hard pill to swallow, considering there is brand new titles on the service now. But some of the bigger news in this Connect was Aaron letting us know what the May Stadia Pro games will be. And I have to say, I'm impressed would be an understatement. Starting with the biggest title of the 3, and that is Zombie Army 4, a game that is only 3 months old. From the makers of the Sniper Elite series, a game in which you'll be blasting zombies solo or cooperatively with other players. It's an absolute solid get for Stadia, followed by the Turing Test and Steam World Heist, another 2 solid additional indie titles that actually change up the genres with puzzles and a strategy, as Stadia is a platform full of shooters and racers and action games. So in my opinion, Stadia has definitely formed a strategy with all the games that are being listed for Pro, making sure there is a title there for everyone to enjoy and incentivize them to keep the Pro membership. And I think they nailed it, and I really do think they really hit this one out of the park. And then we finally found some of these timed exclusive titles that have been missing, because we were told back in January that 10 first on Stadia titles will be releasing in the first half of the year. And well, this title to me was a very, very strange one, to say the least. And that game is Creta. It built itself as a collaborative game creation and publishing platform that will launch in the summer of 2020 as a timed exclusive on Stadia. Doing some digging to gather more information about this strange game, it says novice players can create and publish multiplayer games in a matter of minutes without code or specialized skills, and that creators will also have the potential to earn money within Creta from day one via a monthly prize fund. Now, at first glance, this does look like some form of a Fortnite Minecraft combo that you can join in with friends. But it looks as though this game's all about building and I guess creating games within the world. Ultimately, this looks like a title that is wonderful for those with imagination and creativity, two things that I don't possess whatsoever. So this is definitely not my jam. And I can see why it's going to be a free pro game this summer, but it will be interesting to see what you guys will create and what you guys think of this title. And then the next exclusive title that was announced is Wavebreak, another unique game that has this cool mix of snowboarding, skateboarding, but riding waves as well. It's definitely an indie game that is featuring online and local multiplayer, competitive game modes, and a single-player story campaign. Obviously not the most exciting title, but another nice change of pace for an indie, and I'm happy to have seen this pop up exclusively for Stadia. And the next title announced on this Stadia Connect was Ember, a game about you being a firefighter and rescuing people solo or with friends. It's a slapstick comedy game that is meant to be goofy and funny, and one that I did cover by playing the demo. I think quite a few of you will enjoy this indie by Curve Digital, as they are an excellent publisher who typically backs fun games. And speaking on indie titles, the prediction that most had came true with Getpack finally releasing on Stadia as a shadow drop on the Stadia store. A title that frankly just oozes with crazy fun gameplay. This is the epitome of a couch or online co-op game that is just meant for wild and wacky fun to be had. The game did release at $19.99, a tad pricier than I would have guessed, as I was predicting around $15, but a title that does get my full recommendation. And then last but not least, arguably the biggest news that came out of this Connect was PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, otherwise known as PUBG, and well, it's free for Stadia Pro users. A game that requires a buy-in on all other game systems and PC, but it's completely free here on Stadia. Not only that, but it features full crossplay with console players. A change of pace from titles like Division 2 that only has crossplay with PC players. So Stadia once again showing its full diversification, being able to crossplay with both PC and consoles. Now, we all wondered if a battle royale would make its way to Stadia, and this title would have easily been the last guess on my list, but I've gotten to play it now, and it's a solid addition and welcome to the service. A battle royale game with quick in and out gameplay and a small learning curve, and the fact that it is free to pro users not only breathes life into a game that I think only really hardcore players were left, but gives Stadia something different and a change of pace as a competitive shooter on this platform, which I think, in my opinion, is currently missing. And the last thing that was announced is another Stadia Connect will be happening in the summer. And that just tells me that Stadia is looking to continue the hype on a consistent basis and be a relevant player. They also teased Orcs Must Die 3 at the very end, and possibly maybe a summer release. But man, there really was a lot to get excited for with this Connect. While I still feel in general there is a lack of games, and Phil did mention 100 titles to come in 2020, which I've stated before, we've only got a handful of those titles, and really no new features were announced in this video. But either way, I was pleased, and he did reiterate that they are still targeting those 100 games this year, and the list of games is starting to add up as they are revealing new games each week. Overall though, while there are some things that were missing from this Connect that I'm sure we would have all liked to have seen in some form or fashion, I do have to say, they did enough for me personally to get me excited for the short term. I think I would have been more disappointed if they didn't mention the fact that they plan to have another Connect in the summer to showcase more games. The biggest thing I was hoping for was for a teaser for one of the exclusive titles that they were working on, and while that didn't happen, and understandably so considering it's still pretty early, I feel confident in saying we might see that come this summer. Honestly, Google won't be able to please everyone, but I feel the biggest takeaway from this Connect is that there is a plan for the future, and it just once again reminded me that this service is in good hands, at least for now. But alright guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this Connect. Did you leave disappointed? Were you happy with what you got? Was there anything missing from this Connect that you were really hoping to see? Let me know all that down below. And if you could smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Hit that notification bell and sub to the channel for more Stadia coverage. I'm Sunny, and like always, I'll catch you guys in the cloud.